Hello everyone and welcome back to Prodigal Overland. My name's Brad. If you're new here, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be going through 5 things that I've learned since we started off-roading, and hopefully they can save you a little bit of a heartache. So guys, these 5 things are in no particular order. But as I'm going through thinking, over this last 4 or 5 years, what have we picked up during our off-road adventures? I kind of condensed them, giving you 5 and maybe a bonus. All right, number 1, get to know your vehicle. This one is huge. Knowing your vehicle and learning its capability out on the trails is a big thing, and that comes with time, and just seat time out on the trails. Part of what we do is not just these videos, but also we have a business where we take people out. So a lot of these videos that you guys are watching when we have different vehicles out, these are people that have paid to come out with us that are usually really new to off-roading, and we're teaching them the basics and also allowing them to experience the capabilities of the rig in kind of a controlled environment. Another part of this, getting to know your rig, I would strongly recommend that as you move your vehicle maybe from a stock format and start doing upgrades, that you do your best to do them yourselves. That you're the one installing the armor, that you're the one maybe putting the lift kit on, that you're doing the fluid changes. I can't stress how much I learned by making myself do that. For me personally, it was a financial decision initially. Like when I looked how much it would cost to take my vehicle to the shop to get the work done versus how much I could do it, I realized pretty quickly that even if I didn't have the tools, I could buy the tools and have them permanently, or I could throw that money at labor for someone else. And one of the unexpected benefits for me was realizing that as I got under there and did the work, sure, it took way longer than it should have, but in the process, I'm learning my vehicle. And so when we're out on the trail and I hear a sound that doesn't sound right, or we hit something and I get up under there, I am now familiar with what's going on under there, versus if I would have just taken it to a shop and had them done the work and then something happens, I still have no idea what's going on, and my ability to fix things out on the trail or slap appropriate band-aids on isn't very good. So under knowing your vehicle, learn its capabilities and learn its mechanics as best you can. Number 2 on this list is getting out on the trails with somebody that's smarter than you. When we first started, a lot of our wheeling we did with our friend Jeff. Jeff had a lot more experience than me, much more mechanically minded. And so when we were out on the trails and something happened, whether I lost a tire or mechanically something went wrong, it was so comforting having Jeff there because I didn't know what I was doing. And so going out and picking people that know more than you, we all start somewhere in our journey. Some of us grew up working on cars. I did not. Some of us are highly mechanically minded, and I am not. So realizing your weaknesses and going out with people that know more than you can really get you out of some sticky situations. That's one of the reasons that we started running events, is because we would come across people that were interested in getting out in the hobby but didn't really know what they were doing. When we first got into this hobby, I felt like it was a really high bar. When you go maybe online and look at a lot of these off-roading groups and stuff like that, I would read things and they're talking about things I don't understand, and you're almost scared to ask a question because if it's the wrong question or it's deemed dumb, like you just feel like you get ripped apart. So a big part of what we do is taking people that are brand new out with us. I've had people out with us that didn't know how to air down their tires, that didn't know how to even shift into 4-low, or maybe had some off-roading experience, but they weren't comfortable picking lines, or they just wanted not to try these challenging things by themselves. So that's part of why we started Prodigal Overland, and run these events, is that we can take people out and watch them grow in confidence over the course of a weekend or a week-long trip. So If you're not aware we do that, I will put a link to our events and our websites. We have some new up. I'll probably talk about that more towards the end of this video in case you really don't care about the events we run. But if you do, stick around and we'll get to that later. Okay, modifying your vehicle. I get this question a lot. What mods do I need before I hit the trail? Probably less than you may be thinking. You need a good set of tires. Tires are a hot topic. I've learned about tires that, do they make a difference? For sure. Are they as important as picking that perfect tire as some people make it out to be? Probably not. Because again, we are taking people out that are at different skill levels. We've had people out with us that are running stock tires, stock sizes. We have had people running really aggressive mud tires, all-terrains, different brands. And so I've really gotten the opportunity to see how tires perform across the board. Things that I've learned about tires are mostly that the brand is not nearly as important as people make it out to be, or the do I run KO2s versus Falcon Wild Peaks versus I got Mickey Thompson's on now. I would say that the brand, go with a quality brand. And then the category, all-terrain versus maybe a hybrid versus a mud terrain. I think those are where you're going to pick up the biggest differences. And then how do I know what to pick? It would be more geared towards where are you wheeling. We're currently primarily out on the East Coast. We hit mud a lot more, so I went with a hybrid tire. But the truck we take out, the Gladiator, is also my daily driver, so I didn't want aggressive mud terrain tires on there. And so we kind of went with a nice blend with our Mickey Thompsons, and we've been very happy with them. We're currently running the Baja Legend EXPs. Before that, we had Falcon Wild Peaks, and they were a great value on our Grand Cherokee, but then they kind of got picked up and became much more of a popular tire. And so now I think monetarily, they're not quite the deal they used to be. But I've had a lot of people like, oh, and too, if you ask people, this tire's the best, that tire's the best. I can tell you from experience, there's not a huge difference when you're talking one all-terrain to another one, like functionally out on the trail. I've never actually had somebody not be able to get through an obstacle specifically because of their tires. The closest I would say I've gotten is people running a stock tire that was kind of worn down. And yeah, in like a muddy situation. Mud can really mess your day up. And so you can lose traction very, very quickly. But you're going to lose them on the passenger tires, and I'm going to lose them on my hybrid. So unless you're running a mud terrain that's made to just throw mud out of those tires, it's kind of like a moot point. Other things as far as modifications, what armor do I need? What do I need lights? Do I need winches? We tell folks coming out with us, like, again, if you're going out with somebody that has some of that stuff, it's a great way to learn and get the basics as far as a basic recovery gear, maybe some armor depending on what terrain you're going to do, but then just go out on the trail with people that, if you get stuck, can help you out of sticky situations, and you're going to learn what you need. Versus I've had people just completely outfit their rig with all kinds of stuff, and then they realize, a month or two later that I'm not using this stuff. I don't need this stuff. So our preference always is to kind of start small and build as you find you need it, versus just throwing a lot of money that maybe you don't need to spend. All right, number 4 is realizing in this hobby, you are going to pay to play, as they say. One way or the other, you're going to spend some money. When we first started, we did get out there with less experience, and when we weren't quite confident of what our Grand Cherokee's capabilities were or finding the right lines in the Grand Cherokee, we definitely had situations where we were bumping that thing around more, denting it into trees, and picked up damage that we wouldn't need to have taken had we had more experience. So I kind of feel like in this category, like, you're either going to pay to do the repairs, or maybe pay to go out with somebody that knows what they're doing so you can learn and hopefully not have to repair as much, or you're gonna pay to upgrade your vehicle along the way. So realizing that money is involved in this hobby, and you kind of get to pick if you're being proactive or if you're just getting to kind of fix your mistakes with your money. Number 5, beware of trail experts. Who are trail experts, you ask? These are the people you meet out on the trail that aren't with your group, that are super happy, eager even to help you spot through a line or tell you exactly what you should do. Beware of them. I have never run across someone on the trail that offers assistance that doesn't seem 100% confident in what they're telling me to do. But I've had situations where people in our group listen to people other than me that spotting and have run into situations where they're picking up damage on their vehicle because they're listening to somebody else. So know who you're with, and if you've paid to go out with somebody, or you're just in a group of friends that you trust, be very leery of taking assistance outside that group, realizing that you have no idea their experience level. I've also learned that just because someone has a built-out rig does not mean they know what they're doing. In fact, if they've always had a built-out rig and you're not in a super built rig, they probably don't know how to spot you appropriately, because they're used to just rolling through everything or just hitting the skinny pedal and going. So be very leery of people offering assistance that you don't know. All right, and then I'm going to give you guys a bonus. One of the favorite things that I've seen happen during this off-roading adventure of ours is continually how we can bring a group of strangers together out on our trips that don't know each other or don't have a lot of experience, and we just love seeing relationships form and the binding that occurs in those people as they work to overcome obstacles. If you've been out with us on one of our events before, you've heard me say that my goal for you this weekend is that you'll try something you wouldn't normally have tried if you were here by yourself. And we have just seen the huge benefit of having people work together to overcome things, and how that binds people together. And that is one of our favorite things. And I can't tell you how many friends we've made and relationships we've formed simply because we've gotten outdoors, out on the trails with some folks. That is our top 5 things that I've learned out on the trails. Leave a comment below if you've got something to add to that as far as things you've learned. If you're new to this or you've been watching us for a while and you're thinking, man, I really would like to get out there and give this a go, we have just released our 2024 event schedule. We've got an event up in Pennsylvania for the folks up more northeast. We've got a true overlanding experience happening in Colorado, where we are actually going to be camping out in the national forests. And also we have the ability, I'm pretty excited to announce that we're going to be flying out a professional chef to actually have the option to cater meals for folks that maybe are a little not quite ready to do all the cooking and all the meal prep by themselves. So we will have an option to have a professional chef catering your meals, and that's the Colorado event. We're also going to go back out to Windrock. We've been to Windrock a bunch. That's probably the closest park to us, and it's a great park, and there's lots of different trails for different skill levels, so it doesn't really matter whether you're stock or more built out, there's something for you there. And then lastly, we're going to also have one out at Uwharrie towards the fall. So again, I'm going to put a link to our website in this video description, showing you guys our events. And again, if you've been out with us before, you know it's a good time. And if you're on the fence, I promise you it's a good time. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again real soon.